Good morning, everyone. Life can sometimes feel like a long uphill battle. You've prayed, you've hoped, and you've worked hard, but nothing seems to change. You see others succeeding, doors opening and blessings flowing, and you wonder, why not me? Why not now? Let me remind you today, God's timing is perfect, and your breakthrough is coming, but it will arrive in His time, not yours. You see, rushing ahead or giving up won't bring what God has planned. God works behind the scenes, orchestrating circumstances, opening doors, and aligning people to bring about your breakthrough at the right moment. Sometimes the waiting season is where your faith is strengthened, your character is refined, and your purpose is clarified. Remember, it's not about how fast it comes. It's about how fully you're prepared to receive it. Trust the process, hold on to His promises, and keep moving forward in faith. Your breakthrough may look different than you imagined, but when it comes, it will be exactly what you need at exactly the right time. So today, release your frustration, stop comparing your journey to others, and focus on God's plan. Your breakthrough is coming. Don't miss it because you lost patience. Stand firm, keep believing, and watch God's perfect timing bring what you've been waiting for. Trusting God's timing is one of the most challenging yet rewarding aspects of the Christian life. Many times we look at our circumstances and we think we know the right time for things to happen. We see opportunities pass by, doors remain closed, or prayers seemingly unanswered, and we start to feel anxious, frustrated, or even discouraged. It's natural to want things to happen according to our schedule. After all, we want results now. But God sees the bigger picture. He sees what we cannot see, the invisible threads of His plan, and the perfect sequence that must unfold for our ultimate good. Learning to trust His timing means releasing control and believing that what He has promised will come exactly when it should. Trusting God's timing is not passive waiting. It's an active faith. It's not just sitting back and saying, well, I guess I'll wait, as though God is some distant observer. Trusting God's timing means continuing to walk faithfully, obeying His word, and remaining steadfast in prayer, all the while believing that every delay has a divine purpose. The Bible gives countless examples of people who experience God's perfect timing in ways that initially seemed confusing or even unfair. Abraham and Sarah waited decades for the fulfillment of a promise to have a child. Joseph spent years in prison before God elevated him to a position where he could save a nation. David endured seasons of waiting, rejection, and preparation before he became king. These examples remind us that the waiting is never wasted and the timing is never off. God's schedule is always perfect, even when our human minds cannot comprehend it. The temptation we often face is to force our own timing. We see what seems like the right opportunity and rush in thinking, if I just act now, I can make it happen. But rushing ahead of God often leads to disappointment, failure, or complications that could have been avoided had we waited. Trusting God's timing means acknowledging that His wisdom exceeds ours. It means believing that He knows the right moment for things to align, the right people to be involved, and the right conditions to be in place before the breakthrough occurs. When we try to control the timing ourselves, we often miss the blessings that God has meticulously prepared. Trusting God's timing also requires patience. Patience is not merely the ability to wait, it's how we behave while we are waiting. It's easy to become frustrated when things don't happen quickly. It's easy to doubt whether God is truly working, but patience rooted in trust transforms the waiting period from a time of stress and worry into a time of growth and preparation. During these periods, God is working behind the scenes, refining our character, strengthening our faith, and preparing us for responsibilities and opportunities we cannot yet see. Every delay, every closed door, every unexpected turn has a purpose in God's master plan. When we trust His timing, we begin to see the waiting as part of the blessing itself. Another important aspect of trusting God's timing is surrendering the need to know the details. We often want to know exactly when, how, and in what manner things will happen. But God asks us to trust him even when the specifics are unclear. Faith means believing in his faithfulness, not in our understanding. It means being confident that he will bring the right circumstances in the right season for our ultimate good. God's timing is not accidental or random. It is intentional, precise, and perfect. When we surrender our desire to control every outcome and timing, we open ourselves to his guidance, peace, and provision in ways we could never have planned. Finally, trusting God's timing strengthens our relationship with him. It teaches us to lean on him for direction, to seek his wisdom above our own, and to acknowledge that his plan is greater than anything we could imagine. Trust in his timing transforms fear into faith, impatience into peace, and doubt into hope. It reminds us that no matter how long the wait, no matter how difficult the season, God's promises are sure. The breakthrough will come. And when it does, it will be far greater than anything we could have orchestrated on our own. Trusting God's timing is not always easy, but it is always necessary, and it is always worth it. Waiting is never easy. In fact, it's one of the hardest things for the human heart to endure. When we pray, we want answers now. When we take steps of faith, we want results immediately. We want to see doors open, problems solved, and dreams realized. But life often requires seasons of waiting, and these seasons are not meaningless. They are intentional opportunities for growth. Strength through waiting is not about merely surviving the delay. It's about allowing God to develop our character, our endurance, and our perspective while we wait. In these periods, we are being prepared for what lies ahead, often in ways we cannot yet see or understand. One of the first lessons waiting teaches us is patience. Patience is more than the ability to sit still or endure time passing. It is the ability to trust that God is at work even when we cannot see it. Patience teaches us to resist frustration, to manage our emotions, and to maintain hope when circumstances seem stagnant. When we are forced to wait, we are learning to rely not on our own strength, but on God's power and timing. Waiting refines our faith by pushing us to trust that what we cannot control is still in God's hands. It strengthens us by teaching us that delays are not denials, they are opportunities for preparation and alignment. Waiting also develops resilience. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and unexpected turns. The ability to endure these challenges without losing faith is a mark of spiritual maturity. When we wait, we are being shaped to handle future responsibilities, opportunities, and blessings with grace and wisdom. Just as metal must go through fire to be purified, our patience and perseverance are tested in the fire of waiting. Resilience is built when we continue to stand firm, remain faithful, and keep pursuing God's will despite uncertainty. Every season of waiting fortifies us, equipping us to handle more than we could in our natural strength. Another critical aspect of strength through waiting is the development of discernment. Waiting forces us to reflect, to pray more intentionally, and to seek God's guidance before making decisions. It slows us down from impulsive actions and encourages us to consider the bigger picture. Often, if we rush ahead, we miss the lessons and the insights that God is trying to teach us in the pause. By waiting, we learn to discern his voice, to recognize his timing, and to differentiate between our desires and his purposes. Strength is not only about enduring, it's about learning to navigate life with wisdom and spiritual awareness. Waiting also cultivates gratitude and perspective. When everything happens instantly, we may take blessings for granted or fail to recognize their value. But when we wait, we begin to appreciate the process, the small victories, and the journey itself. Each step of waiting is a chance to grow closer to God, to deepen our faith, and to cultivate a heart of thankfulness. Strength through waiting is not only about preparing for what's coming, it's about appreciating what God is doing in the present. The delay allows us to see our lives more clearly, understand our priorities, and recognize the ways God is shaping us even in the unseen moments. Finally, strength through waiting fosters unwavering trust. When we remain faithful in the waiting period, we demonstrate confidence in God's plan and timing. Trust is strengthened because we learn that God's ways are higher than ours. His timing is perfect and his purposes are unfailing. Every moment of waiting becomes an exercise in faith, teaching us that our breakthrough will come not according to our impatience, but according to his wisdom. Strength is built not in moments of ease, but in moments of endurance, in seasons where we must rely solely on God's promises rather than our own understanding. Waiting is not wasted time. It is fertile ground for growth, preparation, and transformation. Each day of patient trust, each moment of reflection, each prayer offered while waiting is shaping us into the person God intends us to be. When the breakthrough finally arrives, we will not only be ready to receive it, but we will also have the strength to steward it wisely, appreciate it fully, and walk in it faithfully. The waiting itself becomes part of the blessing, and in the process we discover a strength we never knew we had. Preparation matters because God does not just drop blessings into our lives without shaping us for them first. Often we want the breakthrough, the promotion, the success, or the opportunity immediately, but God's process is deliberate. He uses the waiting season, the trials, and even the ordinary moments to equip us to handle what is coming. Preparation is God's way of ensuring that when the blessing arrives, we are ready to receive it fully, steward it wisely, and walk in it with integrity. Without preparation, a blessing can be wasted, mismanaged, or even rejected because we are not yet equipped to embrace it in the way God intends. The first aspect of preparation is spiritual growth. God is more concerned with who we are becoming than with what we are achieving. He wants to mold our hearts, shape our character, and deepen our faith so that we can walk in alignment with his purposes. Challenges, delays, and even disappointments are tools in God's hands to refine our spirit. They teach us humility, perseverance, patience, and trust. They expose areas of weakness and give us the opportunity to surrender those areas to him. When we are prepared spiritually, we are able to recognize God's hand at work, respond to his guidance, and steward his blessings in a way that glorifies him. Preparation also involves practical readiness. God's timing is perfect, and he often arranges circumstances so that when an opportunity arises, we are equipped with the knowledge, skills, and experience necessary to succeed. Think about it. A farmer does not expect a bountiful harvest without first planting, watering, and tending the soil. In the same way, God uses seasons of learning, training, and even testing to cultivate our abilities. The time invested in growth, education, and practice is never wasted. It is preparation for the season when God will open the door that no one can shut. Another critical part of preparation is emotional maturity. Life is full of unpredictable challenges, and when God brings a breakthrough, it often comes with responsibilities, expectations, and pressures. Emotional readiness allows us to handle success without being overwhelmed, disappointment without being defeated, and leadership without being prideful. God uses periods of waiting, reflection, and even struggle to teach us resilience, patience, and self-control. These lessons cannot be skipped because without them, we might falter when the breakthrough comes. Preparation strengthens our inner life so we can respond to God's favor with wisdom, gratitude, and humility. Preparation also shapes our perspective. During the waiting period, God is teaching us to see life from his viewpoint rather than our own limited understanding. We learn to recognize his priorities, value what truly matters, and align our desires with his will. This shift in perspective is crucial Because a blessing or opportunity is not just for our comfort or success. It is part of God's larger plan for his purposes to be fulfilled through us. When we are prepared in heart and mind, we can embrace his plan with clarity and joy rather than confusion or fear. Finally, preparation cultivates faith in action. It is one thing to wait. It is another to actively prepare while waiting. God honors those who do not remain idle, but use the season to grow, serve, and strengthen themselves. Every small step of diligence, obedience, and effort becomes a part of the preparation that positions us for the breakthrough. When we show faith in the little things, managing our responsibilities, improving our skills, and serving others faithfully, God sees that we are ready for greater responsibility and greater blessing. Preparation is not passive. It is active faith expressed through our actions, attitudes, and willingness to be molded. The beauty of preparation is that when the breakthrough comes, it is fully received. It is not overwhelming, unmanageable, or wasted. Instead, it is a perfect fit for the life God has been shaping all along. Every season of effort, waiting, and growth contributes to our readiness, ensuring that we can walk in what God has promised with confidence, wisdom, and gratitude. Preparation matters because it transforms us from merely wanting a breakthrough to being fully capable of living in it, using it, and multiplying it for God's glory. Comparison is one of the greatest traps that can steal our joy, derail our faith, and distract us from God's purpose for our lives. It is easy to look at what others have, their success, opportunities, blessings, or recognition, and feel discouraged or inadequate. But the truth is, comparison is not only unhelpful, it is dangerous. God has a unique plan for each of us, and measuring our journey against someone else's only blinds us to his perfect timing and purpose. Every person's life path is different, and what God has for someone else may not be what he has for us. Learning to avoid comparison is crucial to walking in peace, maintaining faith, and embracing the breakthrough that God has prepared in his time. Comparison often leads to impatience. When we see others moving ahead while we feel stuck, we may start to question God's timing. We ask, why not me? Or why are they ahead of me? These questions, though natural, reveal a lack of trust in God's sovereignty. Each person's journey is designed to teach them the lessons they need and prepare them for the responsibilities God intends for them. Our breakthrough will come when we are fully prepared to receive it, just as it came for them at the right time in their journey. When we compare, we are measuring our life by someone else's timeline instead of trusting God's perfect plan for us. Comparison can also breed discouragement and doubt. Seeing others succeed can make us feel like we are failing or falling behind, even when we are faithfully pursuing God's purpose. It can make us question our abilities, our worth, or the validity of our prayers. But these feelings are lies that stem from focusing on the wrong perspective. Instead of measuring our progress against others, we must focus on God's guidance, the growth he is producing in us, and the steps we are taking toward his plan. The success of someone else does not diminish the promises God has made to us. Their journey is theirs and ours is ours. Comparison often leads to envy and bitterness. When we focus too much on what someone else has, we can begin to resent them rather than celebrate their blessing. This bitterness can harden our hearts, create distraction, and even hinder our own breakthrough. God calls us to a spirit of gratitude and contentment, to rejoice in the blessings of others while trusting that our own season will come. Focusing on others' achievements distracts us from the work God is doing in our lives and blinds us to the blessings already present. Gratitude shifts our perspective from scarcity to abundance, helping us see that God's provision is sufficient and uniquely suited to our lives. Avoiding comparison also strengthens our faith. When we stop looking at others and start focusing on God's promises, we grow in confidence that he is faithful and will fulfill what he has spoken over our lives. Faith grows when we trust that God's plan is perfect, even if it looks different from anyone else's. This trust allows us to embrace our journey fully, knowing that every step, every challenge, and every season of waiting is producing the person we need to be for the blessing He has promised. By focusing on God's plan rather than someone else's success, we are empowered to walk in obedience, patience, and hope. Finally, avoiding comparison allows us to fulfill our unique purpose. God has given each of us specific gifts, callings, and opportunities. If we are constantly looking at what someone else has, we may miss the doors God has opened specifically for us. Comparison clouds discernment and can lead to decisions based on envy or imitation rather than God's direction. When we stop comparing, we become free to pursue the path God has set before us, to invest our energy in growth, service, and preparation, and to trust that our breakthrough will arrive in its appointed time. The key is to remember that God's blessings are not a limited resource. Someone else's success does not prevent ours from arriving. Each of us has a unique timing, a unique purpose, and a unique blessing waiting for us. By avoiding comparison, we protect our joy, strengthen our faith, and remain focused on the process God is using to prepare us for what is coming. When we keep our eyes on God rather than others, we cultivate patience, gratitude, and confidence that the breakthrough meant for us will arrive fully and perfectly in His time. Staying faithful and persistent is the cornerstone of seeing God's promises come to pass. Many people give up too soon because they do not see immediate results. They pray, they hope, they work, but when progress is slow or obstacles arise, they lose heart and stop pursuing what God has promised. Yet, the breakthrough often comes not to those who quit at the first sign of difficulty, but to those who remain steadfast, committed, and faithful in their pursuit. Faithfulness and persistence are not just virtues. They are actions that align our hearts with God's timing, allowing His plans to unfold in their perfect season. Faithfulness is demonstrated in the small, everyday choices we make. It is easy to be consistent when everything is going well, but true faithfulness shines when circumstances are difficult, uncertain, or frustrating. Faithfulness means continuing to pray, worship, and live according to God's principles, even when the results are not immediately visible. It is about showing up, doing what God has called us to do, and trusting that He is at work behind the scenes. Every small act of obedience, every choice to remain aligned with God's word, strengthens our readiness for the breakthrough that is coming. It is in these consistent, faithful actions that God sees our hearts and prepares to reward our perseverance. Persistence is closely linked to faithfulness, but focus more on enduring challenges over time. Life is full of obstacles, setbacks, and disappointments. Opportunities may close, plans may change, and circumstances may appear hopeless. Yet persistence allows us to keep moving forward, even when the path is unclear or progress seems slow. It is the determination to press on, to keep working, and to maintain hope when it feels like nothing is happening. Persistent people do not quit because of temporary difficulties. They remain committed to God's promises, believing that the breakthrough is on its way. Faithfulness and persistence work together to build spiritual resilience. When we remain steadfast in our actions and persistent in our efforts, we are strengthened to face bigger challenges and greater responsibilities. God often allows seasons of testing to prepare us for the blessings ahead. If we quit too early, we miss the preparation and growth that these seasons provide. But if we remain faithful and persistent, our faith is deepened, our character is strengthened, and our trust in God is solidified. The breakthrough, when it comes, is not just a reward. It is the result of enduring faith and persistent effort in alignment with God's will. Another aspect of staying faithful and persistent is maintaining focus. It is easy to become distracted by doubts, discouragement, or the apparent success of others. But persistence requires that we keep our eyes on God and the promises He has made to us. It is about prioritizing our relationship with Him, above circumstances, opinions, or temporary setbacks. By maintaining focus, we prevent distractions from derailing our progress and keep our hearts aligned with His purpose. This focus, combined with faithful action, ensures that we are in the right position to receive the breakthrough when God brings it. Faithfulness and persistence are also acts of trust. They demonstrate confidence that God's timing is perfect, that His promises are sure, and that He will provide exactly what we need at the right moment. When we continue to act faithfully and persistently, even when results are not visible, we are effectively saying, I trust you, God, even when I do not understand. This trust pleases God and positions us to experience His faithfulness in powerful ways. It also serves as a witness to others, showing them that true success and breakthrough come through consistent obedience, perseverance, and reliance on God. Finally, staying faithful and persistent teaches us the value of endurance. God's plans are always worth the effort, even when the journey is long and difficult. Every act of faith.
I'll be all right. You don't have to stay. If you've already chosen, I won't stand in your way. I can feel it in your distance, in the way you barely speak, like your heart is somewhere else now, somewhere I can't reach. I was trying just to hold us while you slowly slipped away. Now I'm left with all the silence you didn't want to say. Maybe I just held on to something already gone. I'll be fine, you can leave. You don't owe me anything. If your heart has found a way out of what we used to be, I'll be fine, don't look back. I'll survive this empty space. Not tonight, maybe not soon, but I'll learn to be okay. We don't need to fake the feeling, I can see it in your eyes. There's no reason left for staying when the love already died. Through the quiet in your voice, I can hear your choice. I'll be fine, you can leave. You don't owe me anything. If your heart has found a way out of what we used to be, I'll be fine, don't look back. I'll survive this empty space. Not tonight, maybe not soon, but I'll learn to be okay. I don't need a reason why, I can see it in goodbye. And it breaks me, yeah, it does, but I won't ask you to stay. I'll be fine, you can leave. You don't owe me anything. If your heart has found a way out of what we used to be, I'll be fine, don't look back. I'll survive this empty space. Not tonight, maybe not soon, but I'll learn to be okay. I'll be all right.